Hi everyone, it's Dutch Reefer here and welcome to a new episode of Reef Keeping 101. It's been a while since my last video and well, apart from that I've been fairly busy with work and everything, the main reason was that I was quite busy with getting the tanks a bit more stable again. The Nano Tank was being a bit overrun with corals touching each other and damaging each other at some point, so I did some rearranging. On the other hand, the big tank was getting better and better over the past few months. I spent a lot of energy in getting it more stable and finding ways to even out the balance of the tank. So that has worked out pretty well. So I wanted to show you today what I've changed in both this big tank as well as the Nano Reef, which I'll show in the second part of this video. So welcome yet again, yeah, let's get started. So like I mentioned, the big tank has undergone some changes. Not too much, but I'll quickly talk you through it. One of the biggest changes is that I, with a bit of pain in my heart, decided to sell the Regal Angelfish again. I had sold it before, bought it back, and now it's finally gone. I might say now forever. Yes, it's a beautiful fish, but it was also seriously damaging my soft corals. Which at some point I couldn't take anymore. I hated to see the soft corals being eaten by the Regal Angelfish. For example, this toadstool right here, this mushroom, or toadstool, let's say, it's soft coral, Sacrophyton, I think. It has just been eaten, as you can see right there, and then it was also being eaten on the base of the coral right there. It's all healed up back again, as you can see. If you look closely, you can still see some previous bite marks. But yeah, among that one, it was also eating at other corals, nipping at it. And in general, that's not very good for the health of your corals when it's being eaten. So it was a choice between the fish and the corals. And although this has been a reef, or a fish-only tank for quite a while, I did miss having some nice corals in here. So the philosophy has changed a bit. Got rid of the pigo, and now I'm able to keep some more corals. I'm trying to keep this more of a soft coral kind of tank, so a lot of mushrooms, a lot of anemone, a lot of gorgonians, as you can see, discosoma. There's plenty of colors to choose from in those categories, so a bit of a change of scenery. So moving from a fish-only tank to a soft coral / fish tank, which I think is working out pretty well so far. I really like the way it has changed. I think the Regal Angelfish has been gone for about a month now, and I can clearly see corals recovering, which is of course great. Since that was one of the things that I hated, that the corals just kept going backwards in health, and it made the tank look pretty bland overall. So I'm glad that that's been solved. I had to restructure this side of the reef for that, because I had to catch the Regal Angelfish, which was not an easy task. So in the end, I took apart the rocks on this side and put them back in a different, caught the fish of course, and then put the rocks back together in a slightly different way, also with one of the reef branches sticking out now on the top, which I think looks pretty cool compared to the other part of the scape. So still keeping the philosophy where there's a gap in between here, so it makes the tank look spacious enough for all the fish of course, but also enough room to attach some corals. So like I mentioned, another change is that I moved some corals from the Nano Tank to this tank. I saw some corals irritating each other, so I took a decision to keep the Nano Reef in somewhat more of a clean look, which I'll show you later, and then add some corals to this tank. Like for example, these mushroom corals just grow so large, and as you can see, they take up a significant part of this tank. Imagine how big they were in the Nano. And here they have so much more room to show their potential and to just grow as they please, with enough space in between to extend their polyps to the maximum that they want. Same goes for these Recordea that you can see in the back here. Just overall more space, and I think that makes it's good for both the corals and the tank, since it also makes the tank look a little bit more colorful. I also moved this Recordea back to its old place. If you've seen my previous videos, this was also the spot where it was before it moved to the Nano Reef. So now it's back there, of course sitting next to these bright red Discosoma with pink speckles, which also looks pretty nice together. So yeah, all in all, quite a big change to this tank. The balance is returning to this tank. As you can see, the water looks pretty clear. I'm using a power filter. I have been for the past few months. I'm using a carbon mix, so that's vodka and vinegar mixed together. To reduce the nitrates and phosphates. Still 2 skimmers, still some taxifolia, Calerpa taxifolia, macroalgae. So all in all, the tank is doing better. I'll quickly give you a view of the other side, which is not as spectacular, before switching over to the Nano Reef. So this is the other side of the tank. There's not that much coral here yet, or not a lot has changed, I have to say. There's still, of course, the corals that were already in here, which look nice. But I moved most of the colorful corals to the other side, since that's the main display side. This is more like the kitchen side, which I'm not watching that regularly. So yeah, that concludes the changes on the big tank. Let's get to the Nano Tank. See you there. So welcome back. This is the new Nano Reef. There's not a lot of changes other than that the corals that I moved, which you just saw in the first part of the video, which are now in the big tank. I moved some corals around, so these Duncan's corals, for example, this Duncan was previously here, but it was hurting the Montipora. As you can see, there's a bit of a damaged spot on the edge, which is where the Duncans were touching it. Then I moved around this chalice. I moved this chalice to a bit lower, so it can maybe get a little bit more of its colors back, since it was up pretty high before. So just in general, moving some stuff around and cleaning up the floor. That was the most important part. Of course, also adding some new sand. So yes, this sand has been added 2 days ago. That's why it looks so pristine at this time. And yes, the Trachyphylla is still here. If you look closely on the left side, you can see that it had been damaged before. It was actually the orange Recordea that I showed you before, which was next to the red Discosoma, that was actively attacking this Trachyphylla. And there was a large piece of its skeleton was visible, but luckily it healed in about a week's time. It has significantly healed itself up to a point where there's now new flesh, and it's recovering, so that's great news. And that was also the sign for me to start moving stuff around. And all in all, I'm very happy with the new look of the Nano Reef at this point. Just a little bit more spacious, even in this small 80-liter display tank. It looks like it looks a bit more clean. and yeah, also a bit easier to clean now because there's not a lot of stuff on the sand. The things that are there are easily visible, like for example this min-max anemone, or rock anemone if you might call it. As you can see, with the small porcelain crab on the edges at the moment. It's always there, always lurking. And of course still this huge elegance coral, which has been in here for a long time, which I won't take out. I already moved the pump up a bit higher, as you can see. It was a bit lower before, but the tentacles are closing in. So yeah, that has been here for a while and doing really well, so I didn't want to move that. But other than that, the Ricordea that were on the floor are now in the big tank. A bit of rearranging here on the top. And let's do a quick rundown of what's still in here. So the zoanthus are still here, of course. The clownfish with their euphilia are still here. On the top, I still have the SPS, which are doing really well. I'm manually dosing a lot of alkalinity and calcium into this tank. That's ATI Essentials, the Pro version. So that's 2 bottles of one with KH and one with calcium. So alkalinity and calcium to keep this tank supplied with the base elements. And I have to add it quite regularly, since as you can see, these SPS at the top are growing quite well, and thus consuming a lot of the alkalinity and calcium in the tank. So that's good news. The tank is thriving. It's looking really nice in the living room here, and yeah, overall just really happy with the 2 tanks. Both of them are doing great again. So after a period of somewhat less performance, I'm glad to see them returning to former glory. So yeah, that was the video that I wanted to make today. I'll try to make a new one a bit more frequently than I did over the last few months, weeks. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you're still staying safe out there. And I'll see you in the next one. So for now, have a great day, and I'll see you around. Bye bye.